Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn, and today is February 21st, 2024. This time next week, I will be sailing along with many of my supplier partners, colleagues, wonderful agents in our group on the Crystal Awards Conference and yes, Crystal Awards and conference on board the Celebrity Reflection. We're really excited and getting all that last minute prep handled. It's really just amazing. And we're so looking forward to seeing so many of you on board next week. Don't forget about us, though. We'll be releasing a short and a podcast, regardless of whether or not we're here live. So be sure to look out for those on YouTube and, of course, your favorite podcast platforms. Before we get to our guest today, I just wanted to ask you guys, let us know that you're here by posting in the public chat. But I wanted to ask all of you, how many of you are using AI in your business? The reason I ask is there was a really interesting article this week in the Washington Post about a gentleman who filed a claim with the Canadian Tribunal for Travel, saying that a chatbot gave him incorrect advice when it came to looking for a bereavement fare with Air Canada. And he ended up filing this claim. Air Canada came back and said, well, the chatbot was wrong. We're not responsible for it. And the tribunal came back and said, you absolutely are. You're responsible for the information that the chatbot is giving on your website. And sure enough, they came back and awarded this gentleman damages in excess of any discount that Air Canada would have given him in the first place. So really, really interesting. And it just goes to show, where does AI fit into your business, and what do you have to do to make sure that you are covered with the information that you're pulling from there. So really interesting stuff. If you haven't seen the article, go check it out in the Washington Post. Let's see what our first guest has to say about this topic. Please welcome, for the first time ever, President of Vacation Express, Rene Jongmans. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's so great to finally have you on the show.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit just a minute ago about AI. Has Vacation Express pulled this or talked about pulling AI into their business model at all? It's kind of a yes and a no, or a happy medium for some.
Well, when I hear about AI, I think about all inclusive. So we've been talking about it for the past 30 years. So yes, it's a
That's
huge part of
true.
my business. So we've got it covered. But as far as the other part is, we've started to talk about it. We have so much going on at the moment that's like so current that it really hasn't infiltrated us much. But of course, it is one of those things that we all have to start thinking about, in particular for
Right.
the reasons you mentioned. Credit card fraud, actually, it came up once that it was all just, fake what they submitted to us. So those are things we're all going to have to pay attention
Mhm.
to. And we know it's something that's in the future. But at the moment, when I think AI, I just think about selling all-inclusive hotels.
And isn't that funny how these terms transfer depending on what business you're in? Well, I'm so happy that you're with us today. Before we get in kind of the nitty gritty, I'd love to do some rapid fire questions with you to kind of get to know you a little bit better outside of your role. Are you ready?
Oh,
I
let's
know,
see.
really, really fast. What was your first job?
My first job was cleaning dishes in a restaurant, dishwashing.
What Perfect. What is your favorite month?
June, my birthday.
Your favorite season?
Season, oh, I love spring. I love fall. Now, winter in Atlanta, where I'm based, beautiful. It's sunny and cold. I love it too. So I guess a lot of them.
Awesome. What is your favorite type of music?
It depends on the mood. I'm just currently, just when I work, I have some relaxing spa music on. But then when I really need to wake up, I'm currently playing like all this like African dance and disco beats and, fun old music. So it's a variety.
I
Yes.
love it. Where did you grow up?
Netherlands, born, raised, educated. Yes.
And what is your favorite dessert?
Ooh, I've been avoiding dessert since I had such great travel in January. So I've been skipping it all. But anything you give me with chocolate, I
Yes.
mean, you can't beat that.
I love it. Well, thanks for playing with this. I think it's interesting when you were talking about your music. I find that I have a hard time with music because I end up playing DJ, and I'm looking for songs instead of actually working. So I
Yeah.
find that music doesn't work for me. I can have the TV on, but music I get too into. So
Okay.
it's
Uh-huh.
funny that you have different genres for whatever you're doing.
Whatever the mood
Um,
is. Yes.
yes, exactly. So share with us a little bit about your background. How did you find yourself at Vacation Express?
It's actually an interesting story because, as I mentioned, born, raised, educated, graduated in the Netherlands. And then I had my internship actually in St. Martin. I was doing a degree in business, but always loved tourism. So I had a 3 month internship in St. Martin, which was fantastic. I was, I don't know, what, 21 years old. And then I graduated and I went straight back to St. Martin and I stayed there for 3 years in the hotel business. Ended up being general manager at one of the properties at like age, whatever, 24, 25. And Vacation Express was one of my accounts. And I got to know them. And then I ended up moving to Atlanta and the US, which has now been more than 30 years ago. And that's kind of, I'm now with Vacation Express
Wow.
for more than 30 years. So, yeah.
Wow. Who knew from St. Martin?
I know, right? Yes, that's why it's still my favorite destination. I love to go back. It still feels like home. Um,
Absolutely.
just awesome.
So what are you most excited about when it comes to travel in 2024? I just feel like it's exploded even more than it has in years past. What
Yeah.
gets you excited?
I guess when it comes to our business, which is more Caribbean, Mexico, Costa Rica, right? That's just specifically as to what our company does. I'm excited about new hotel openings. There's always something new going on, and you're like, oh my gosh, another great hotel, or hotels are completely renovating, and then they're new and up to date. So when it comes to our product, I think it's very exciting. Also, when it comes to more destinations being accessible. And
Mhm.
again, sometimes no matter what city you're in the US, it's very hard to get to some of the smaller destinations. But we're lucky that I just found out not too long ago that, for example, Delta is going to fly daily starting November from Atlanta to Curacao and Barbados, which were
Wow.
really difficult destinations to get to because it was mainly American Airlines from Miami or Charlotte or JetBlue from JFK. So yeah, on a business level, I think that's exciting because it really opens up these destinations a lot more. And when it comes to personal travel, I travel all over the world and I go to fun destinations and off the beaten path destinations. So on a personal level, I got so many trips scheduled this year that I'm excited about. But I think that's the good thing. So many destinations are more accessible worldwide. And I think being in this industry allows us, whether you're a travel agent, a consumer, or me, it's in this business to just explore those great destinations because travel is fun. It's the best
It
thing you
is
can
fun.
do.
Are you seeing some trends, speaking of new hotels and refurbished hotels? Are you seeing certain things being added to hotels like we're seeing with cruise lines, right? We see certain trends happening. Um, are you seeing that with hotels?
Well, I would say the one thing that a lot of hotels talk about, and only some have implemented it, is pickleball. Pickleball has just become such a huge phenomenon
Yeah,
in the US. So a lot of hotels say, "Oh yeah, we're thinking about it. We heard about it." So I think that's more on a general level.
right.
But in talking to some larger hotel companies, is they have really seen that the U.S. market, the U.S. travel market, has been the most resilient market during and since COVID. So they've really geared a lot of their product more towards US travelers. So whereas
Mhm.
it may have been like a very split between European or other cultures, but they've really just decided that yes, we've seen that the US market just for the Caribbean, Mexico remains so strong that if they want to stay on top of it and be part of it, they
Mhm.
really have to adapt to that, whether it's their sports bars or the menus or whatever those things may be that Americans are more looking for versus Europeans or other cultures.
Mhm. I feel like water parks and rooms that fit 5
Mhm.
people are
Yes, for
becoming
families.
more commonplace.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. A lot of hotels are looking into that, and it's always more options. And like you mentioned, the cruise lines, of course, are very good at that.
Mhm.
But water parks are becoming more important for families. So I think each of the hotels and the companies they really know what market they want to cater to, and they're constantly making improvements and investments to make the products better. And I think that's certainly exciting about this upcoming year as well.
Do you see any particular challenges? I feel like maybe last year one of the challenges was air, and I think the cost of air might be, in 2024 might be a challenge for people. Are you seeing that on the business side with Vacation Express? Are there certain challenges that you're being presented with and looking for ways to overcome them?
You know what? I guess in this industry, and like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time now. There's always challenges,
Yeah.
and I think at this point, nothing really phases us anymore because you're just so used to adapting.
Hmm.
Our company is very flexible. We make decisions very quickly. But yes, you're right. When it comes in particular to airfare, it can get challenging. Airlines do change the rules all the time on the kinds of tickets that they have, and more restrictions and other things that just make it more complex. But when it comes to airfare, I see it go up and down a lot. Sometimes there's like an $800 airfare, but then maybe some negative news comes out about a certain destination. Next week, the airfare is $200. So
Hmm.
I would say just the fluctuations are always there. And it's just something, that we just have to deal with in our industry. It's part of our business, and it's kind of what keeps it exciting as well.
I think that we use the term flexible, pivot, pliable so much
Yes.
after COVID. And
Yes.
I don't know that those words have really changed, right? We
No.
we haven't been able to go back to, I think, what we were, which I think we always had to be those things. We
Mhm.
just maybe have to be them even more so,
Yeah.
and we have to figure out how to make that work within our business.
And maybe that's
So
been the good thing, right? That it's kind of we've gotten accustomed to it, and just
right,
now we have to change. And you're right. I mean, it's about pivot and change. And now you're like, okay, nothing was worse than COVID and how it all
right.
affected our businesses. So anything that happens now, we're like, sure, no problem, we'll deal with it. Yeah,
And our ability, at least from the travel advisor side, our ability to do that has made us invaluable,
for
right?
sure,
That we can think on a dime like that and be able to say, all right, here are your options. Here's
absolutely,
what I
yes,
can do. Here's what I need you to do. So I think that's the reason why we have become even more relevant in the
absolutely,
industry, is because we can think like
for
that.
sure. Yeah.
Um, I love it. Okay, so tell me, what's the best part of your job?
Oh my gosh, like I would just really say like everything. And that's not an understatement because I truly enjoy everything that I do every single day for the past, 32 years now. Just something about this industry that no matter what situation you're in, it's just such an amazing industry to be able to travel and enjoy. In particular, for me, just as president of a company, I have obviously a lot of different hats, that I wear.
Mhm.
I would say mainly three parts, right? So one part is travel agents who are, my clients as well. And I think it just keeps it exciting. I mean, there's so many wonderful relationships that we have. I get to travel with a lot of them during our President's
Yeah.
Club retreats for our top accounts, or last night I had a trade show in Atlanta where I meet a lot of agents. So I think that part is just always fun and exciting. I also deal with a lot of hotel companies. I'm also involved in that part. So it's a different part of the business, which is a lot of fun as well. Negotiating with hotels when needed or being part of those higher level meetings. And then, internally with our employees, and we have such a great team of people. We like to have fun. We work hard, but we also like to have fun. So, yeah, the industry is so dynamic. Our jobs are very dynamic in what I do every day. I'm a Gemini, so, we need that change, like when things get all like this, we're just kind of getting bored. But I would say I have the perfect job and I wouldn't change it for anything.
I don't know that I've ever heard someone say they have the perfect job.
I know.
Usually when I ask that question, I get, three or four bullet points. Everyone really loves their jobs. That's this industry, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know that I've ever heard the words, I have the perfect job.
I have the perfect
So
job. I'm like,
that's
no
pretty
matter what.
impressive.
I
Yeah.
know, and
Well,
it's the truth. Yes.
and
So,
I do have firsthand experience with many of your team members, and I can see why you like your job.
yes.
They're great people, and I think at the core, that's what I always love to remember about all of our suppliers that we work with. At the
Yeah.
core, there's just some really good, genuine people who are trying their best to work
Yeah,
for us.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, the fact that we are at the end of the day in a fun industry, right? It's vacations, great
yeah,
destinations, whether it's, like I said, what we sell, Caribbean, Mexico, Costa Rica, where I personally like to go to.
yeah.
This is such a great industry, and we really have to appreciate it every day that we have this opportunity to be in it. Tough times, but that's part of life, right? And then, but there's so many good times and wonderful moments to share that it certainly is. I'm blessed to be in this, and lucky how I got into this, right? An
No,
internship with St. Martin, and ending up here with Vacation Express. So, but hey, that's just the way it all went down.
well, and it's a great story. And we thank you so much for being here today. And we
Thank you.
absolutely love partnering with Vacation Express. So we can't thank you guys enough. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for spending
Thank you.
time with us today.
It was great. Thanks for having me. We'll do it
All
again.
right. Absolutely. We'll see you
All
soon.
right.
Take care.
See you guys. Bye.
Wasn't that fun? Oh my gosh, what a strange story. It kind of feels a little bit of my own journey from school to this place that I'm at. I love when people have entered this business on random circumstances. Um, I am very excited to welcome our next guest. She is one of the co-founders of the Association of Black Travel Professionals, and we are excited to have her here today as we celebrate and recognize Black History Month. So please welcome Veranda Adkins. Hello.
How are
Thank
you
you.
today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here. I want to point out, even though it's backwards on the screen, your fantastic t-shirt, support, educate, and advocate. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, how this started for you, and we'll go from there. I'm so interested.
Yeah, so I've actually been in the travel industry for about 24 years now. I actually got my start. Now that Renee's off the phone, I can say this word. I actually used to work at Travel Impressions for several years. So VE, and I was based in our Atlanta office. So VE and Travel Impressions were kind of like right there together. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so I started with Travel Impressions almost right out of college. And in 2014, I decided to leave and start my own agency. And so just navigating the world of being an independent travel agent and trying to figure everything out. Just noticed that there was like a little bit of a gap in the industry for events and things like that I was at. Sometimes when I was going to some award shows and things like that, I would be one of only a few or a handful of Blacks there. And I met our other co-founder, Shantae Harrison, in a Facebook group. Ironically enough, I'm not very social on social media, but I answered a question that she had, and that just bloomed into this wonderful organization over the years. We used to just bounce questions off of each other and things like that. And because I had come from the wholesale side of stuff, she would always tell me, oh, you need to teach a class. You need to teach a class. And so when I got the idea for Association of Black Travel Professionals, I called her one night and was like, hey, I just created this website and this organization. Send me your headshot. So you're coming with me. And she's like, what? Oh, okay. So that's it was something that we had talked about. And, just with everything that was going on in 2020, there were a lot of agents that didn't have their agency set up properly to get some of the government programs that were available. And then we were just seeing, like I said, not having like that big of an industry presence at events and things like that. And that's what prompted us to go ahead and say, hey, so we spent COVID, instead of sending people to travel, we spent most of our time developing this organization.
That's amazing. So what are some of the things you do throughout the year to support agents?
Yeah, so of course we have supplier trainings, but I tell people, that's just one part of it, because you can always get the suppliers to come on and talk about their products. I think one of our biggest strengths with ABTP is the camaraderie and the peer-to-peer like sessions that we have. We spend a lot of time like bouncing ideas off of each other. Shantae and I like to say that the two of us, we don't know everything, but everything that we do know, we're willing to share with our members and the other agents. So we really pride ourselves on being an organization that will share knowledge. Like, we're not about gatekeeping and just giving you part of the information. Like, we've sat on the phone with agents to help them figure out processes and procedures and plan group trips. And so those are the main things that we do. We do have, and we have those trainings. We have some road shows where we actually get out and get to meet agents along with suppliers to help them, learn about new products and things like that. And then our biggest event throughout the year is our annual summit. And we have it in a different location this year. Is August 15th through the 18th in Louisville, Kentucky. So that's a great opportunity. We have trade show suppliers there. We have presentations. We do peer-to-peer. We have some parties. So it's kind of like an all work play weekend.
When you think about your membership, are you looking at mostly home-based agents or some brick and mortar?
We have a couple of we do have some brick and mortar agents, and then we have obviously people that are with hosts that are home based.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a variety of agents, and as well as skill levels. We have agents that are brand new that are just starting out, as well as agents that are doing multi-million in sales each year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great for our members to be able to learn. And I always tell people, no matter what your level of experiences, there's a place for you at ABTP, because we do have some of those agents that have more experience that feel the same way as Shantae and I feel, like, hey, let's share this information. Let's help
Mm-hmm.
everybody,
Mm-hmm.
kind of get there. So yeah.
It sounds like the community is a huge piece of this. And the reason I asked the question about home base is, I'm home based, and it can be very isolating sometimes.
Absolutely.
You can find yourself in your basement office for hours on end, not speaking to anyone and just listening to music right on the other end. And that sense of community and camaraderie and being able to bounce ideas off of each other is so important. And I love the idea of the more experienced assisting those that maybe aren't so experienced but are willing to learn and educate themselves. What have you found to be the most challenging piece of running your own organization?
Oh goodness, it's crazy because Shantae and I still have our full-time travel agencies. So just trying to balance the two and being there for our members as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely been a labor of love to get ABTP off the ground, but I just felt like it was, and we felt like, I won't just say me, I think I can speak for her on this part, to say we just felt like it was something that was really important to the industry for us to have. And we hear from so many agents that, oh my God, I'm so glad I found an ABTP, because sometimes you get in a room with people and they have this crazy experience level. And even we had this happen at our summit last year. It was, somebody threw out what their sales numbers were, and it kind of made everybody fade back a little bit, like, wait a minute, I'm not there. And so we saw that. And, it just took us going up the next day, and Shantae and I got up and was like, hey, don't let anybody dim your light. Just because that person is here, you're going to get there. That's why you're here at this conference. That's why you're here trying to learn. And so that sense of community that you talked about is what helps us keep going, even though it's the challenges. And then it's sometimes one of our other challenges is just making sure that everybody knows there's a place for them at ABTP, because sometimes people feel like, oh, my sales are too low, I'll wait until I get there, or, oh, I don't know if there's really going to be anything for me because I'm already here. So we're just trying really hard to make sure we make everyone feel welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this is the industry where if you think you know it all, you don't.
You don't.
and in my role at KHM, I'm always, I do a lot of our educational events, and I say on the first day, I do not know it all. I fully expect to walk out of here with at least a page of ideas for every single one of you in the room. And if I'm not in that attitude, then I'm not doing my job, right? Because we all have something to share.
Yeah.
Because, I've been doing this for a long time, but someone who comes in and is brand new, sometimes they have the best ideas.
Absolutely.
They've got a different perspective.
Absolutely.
So it's just, sometimes you have to teach the old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Even though we're a couple years removed from COVID, I mean, I think that taught all of us that none of us knew as much as we thought we did about the travel industry, because it was just like, oh my God, we got to shift everything that we've been doing. So yeah,
we were comfortable, and now we have to almost reacquaint ourselves with rules and protocols, and really be looking at things almost weekly.
Absolutely.
With suppliers to make sure that things haven't changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So February is Black History Month. Do you have special ways that you recognize or encourage people to recognize or celebrate this month?
So, you know what? I always tell people that I feel like every month, I know that February is the month that we kind of nationally do it, but every month is Black History for us. And I just kind of feel like, you know, there's definitely things that people can do, but I want people to realize that our history is a long history, and it's not just limited to this one month. So there's always ways of things you can do, like volunteer with organizations, you know, make posts about different pioneers that were African American in our history. So there's always ways to celebrate Black history. Yeah,
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think what you guys are doing is incredible. I love the sense of community that you're providing to people, and the educational aspect, and, you know, making sure that there's a home for everyone. I love that sentiment. So we thank you so much for being here and taking your time. And hopefully next time Shantae can join us as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Thank you all for joining us today with two very, very, very special guests. Thank you to our sponsors for their continued support of KHM Today, especially Apple Leisure Group. Next week, we'll be on the Celebrity Reflection. Woohoo! But don't forget, we have a short releasing on our podcast, so be sure to check it out. And then please join me back here live on March 6th for International Women's Day. We have a fantastic panel for you, so we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.